very courageous.
You won't come as a surprise to members of this House that I'll be speaking against the state visit for Donald Trump. And last night, when I was thinking about this debate, I started to think about how I was Donald Trump's worst nightmare. The daughter of a political asylum seeker, raised in a Muslim household, and maybe, worst of all, a woman with strong opinions. Somehow, I don't think I'll be on his Christmas card list this year. But joking aside, I recognise that he has been elected in the United States. I recognise that this debate has come off the back of an independent election. But this debate is about the nature of the government's response, our government's response to Donald Trump, and about whether we give him a royal welcome to our country, an individual who has already made thousands of British people in this country, including members of our own House, question whether they are still welcome in America. And I have two main reasons for talking against the state visit being granted to Donald Trump. The first is, what has he actually said and done? And what has he said to the Prime Minister of our country to warrant the state visit? Because in my opinion, a state visit should be granted, not expected. And the Honourable Member for Newport West has already made the point about how this does not happen because you've been in position for 7 days. Barack Obama waited 2.5 years before he was invited on a state visit. George W. Bush waited 3 years before he was invited on a state visit. Nixon and also George Bush Sr. were never given a state visit at all. My question is about what he's actually done, because in my opinion, all he's done since he's been president is, number one, insulted the press, number two, championed economic protectionism, and number three, he's tried to ban Muslims from entering the United States. Are these reasons why we should be granting him a state visit to our country? And secondly, a state visit is meant to be something which is celebrated, a celebratory event for people. Look at the millions of people who've signed a petition saying they do not want to give Donald Trump a state visit. Look at the thousands of people who marched along Whitehall and across the country saying they did not welcome Donald Trump on a state visit to this country. Listen carefully and you'll hear the thousands of people outside right now in this house, outside this house, saying they do not want Donald Trump to be coming into this country on a royal state visit. We have a duty to listen to these people, to give them a voice. And if people from the Trump administration are listening, this is not fake news. The people who are protesting outside, these are not alternative facts. These are real protests from British people who do not want to give him a royal visit. And I disagree with the member from Chelmsford who has said that this is not about timing. Well, actually, for me, it is about timing. In the post-Brexit era, there are deep divisions within our community. We have a duty now to heal these divisions, not to invite figures like Donald Trump so he can cause more divisions within our community at a time when we're trying to figure out whether the immigration status of British nationals is secure in European countries, at a time when we're trying to figure out whether European nationals who've lived here for years and years can still stay here. We should not be inviting someone whose immigration measures are so divisive and so contradictory because it sends the wrong message to the rest of the world. And I would ask honourable members opposite, in all good conscience, can you really lay out the red carpet for someone who has talked about grabbing women by the pussy? Can you really lay out the red carpet for someone who's insulted the LGBT community, branded Mexicans as rapists and murderers, insulted Jewish people, insulted disabled people? Is that what we really want to do? And I don't have much time, so I'll just end on a final point. We will be judged. We will be judged by future generations about what we do when we pay a visit to Donald Trump and tell him to come here, because we as British people, we value respect, we value tolerance, we have mutual respect for each other. If we don't speak up in the face of injustice, if we don't challenge bigotry, then we are not serving ourselves, and we should not be inviting him to preach hatred and to spread his bigotry, his misogyny, and his division
Order,
within
Mr.
our
Martin
community.
Vickers.
Here, here.